Hi, everybody. It's time to get started with our live stream. If anyone out there thinks that the volumes and whatnot are set wrong, now would be a good time to tell me about that. That's the sort of thing I like to know when I'm doing things like this. Anyway, we are again live from the Boomzap virtual reality studio here in Singapore. Thank you very much for joining us. We're having a sort of new thing happening tonight. Usually, the reason we do this, the reason I changed the time for the live stream to now is because I didn't want to interrupt the office. I've got a whole office full of people here. They're actually not working on Last Regiment at all. They're working on a bunch of other stuff that we do in the studio. And I didn't want to do the live stream in the normal time, which is about 10 o'clock in the afternoon, or 10 o'clock in the morning. I guess here it's 11 o'clock in the morning because I've got an office full of people. I didn't want to interrupt them. And so I thought, I'll do it at 9 o'clock because obviously there won't be a whole bunch of people here in the office at 9 o'clock. They'll all be home, right? Nope. Half the office is still here because we're game developers and that's what crunch looks like. So, and there's a lot of people who will tell you, well, you're doing crunch, so you're doing it all wrong. Yeah, that's right. That's actually correct. This is a symptom of us doing things wrong. So that's where crunch comes from. I take full blame. But anyway, there are actually people here wearing headphones, not paying attention to me, doing other things as I do this live stream. And I hope I'm not like too disruptive to them. So to all you guys here, sorry, man. So yeah, we have that's what's going on here. Also, I am like everyone else here, pretty gosh darn busy. Usually I take a nice leisurely time before I start the live stream to go have some dinner. Because I'm here in Singapore, which does have perhaps the best food in the world. I usually walk across the street and go to the hawker center and I get some hawker food and some tea and relax and enjoy and sort of have a nice time with that. I did not have time to do that tonight. Instead, what I had time to do was to run over there like a crazy person and grab some takeaway Chinese food, which I have slammed in my face as quickly as I humanly can. And let's hope that that doesn't cause issues later. Because when I went there, what I had this evening was what's called economic rice, which is one of my favorite things here in Singapore. Economic rice is it's what Panda Express wishes it could be. It's like you go and they've got like I don't know like 20 different dishes that they've made of sweet and sour pork or fried chicken or whatever. They got different stuff and they put some rice in the middle of a plate and you put the stuff on the rice and you eat the stuff with the rice and you get however many things to go with the rice that you want. It's really really good. Now the thing is this is I guess for most people lunch food. And so if you go to the economic rice place at night in this neighborhood anyway, that guy wants to go home. And so he hasn't cooked any food in a while. So that stuff's been sitting out in the Singaporean heat since about 10 o'clock this morning. And he's moved it from the big bowls into like the little dishes. And he's like, hey, I got like a little bit of this left. Can I'm giving it to the cats if you don't eat it. And so, hopefully hopefully I don't go running for the you get where I'm going there. You see, you smell what I'm cooking. Anyway, let's get to the actual what we've been doing this week. It's been a busy week in Last Regiment. We have a milestone reached this week. We are 1 month away from early access, and we are losing our crap because of this. Early access is just absolutely looming in front of us. We're not sure if we're ready or not yet, but we have put sort of stick in the sand and said that we're going to do or die early access August first week. It's going to happen. We still have a lot to do before then. People are working late. People are working really hard. We're getting a lot done. What we've been doing is a lot of playtesting, like a metric ton of playtesting to try to see if what we've got in plays well, what's fun, what's not fun. We do a morning playtest session, we do an afternoon playtest session. After each playtest session, we sit down, we have a long, hard talk about, what was fun, what was not fun, what was balanced, what wasn't balanced. But we can be doing that all through early access. We've just sort of admitted to ourselves we're going into early access with a game that is going to require some balancing. That's part of why we do early access. But what we're really concerned about right now is we're concerned about, do people who play our game for the very first time, do they understand the game? Do they know what the game is about? Do they know what they're supposed to be doing? And most importantly, are they having fun from the moment that they start the game? And this is actually a topic I wanted to talk a little bit about in terms of what it's like to be a game developer in 2019. Now, as many of you know, I've been making games for a really long time. I made my first game in 1992, 93, something like that, a long time ago. I've been making games over 25 years. The industry has really changed in that amount of time. And one of the big changes that people don't talk about is we all know that digital distribution changed things. We all know that that was a thing. But what really changed things in terms of design is something that followed on after digital distribution, and that was the idea of a try-buy game. Now, historically, if we go back to when I was making my first games in the early 90s, the way that you played a game or bought a game is you went to the Walmart or GameStop or wherever it was you bought your games, and you picked up the game off the shelf and you paid your $35 to $50 and you took it home and you played the game. And because you had plopped down a big hunk of money, and by the way, it's interesting that it was $35 to $50 back then. It's still $35 to $50 now, which does make you wonder because inflation is a thing. But anyway, you popped down your $35 to $50. You got your game, brought your game home, loaded up your game on your PC. You hoped it worked. If it loaded, if your PC could run it, you didn't take it back to the store. And because you had put the money down in advance, you were kind of committed to that game. You were going to give it some time. You were going to give it at least a couple hours because, dude, you paid $35 for this. You're not just going to play it for 10 minutes or 5 minutes and be like, oh, I don't like it. The hell with it. No, you put money down on this, good money. So you were going to give it a go. And so the design was very different back then. We believed that you were going to put some time into any game that you bought. You were going to try to play it. You were going to try to understand it. And because of that, the way that we opened up a game and the way that we sort of let the game flow out was very different back then. Now, the way that you buy games is very different. It's either a free-to-play game, in which case you don't pay any money until you want to pay some money, or it's a try-buy game where you grab the free demo of the game, you play the free demo, and if you like it, then you're going to buy the game. And the thing is, over on Steam, you got a lot of games, like a lot of games. And so your willingness to plow your way into a game that you don't understand or that's not immediately fun for you is really, really limited. Because it's almost like a burden on your back of the 500 other games that you've got in your Steam library that you bought on the summer sale. And you're like, if this game is not immediately fun and immediately engaging, I only have so many entertainment hours to spend, and I have 500 other games waiting for their chance in line. And so you only give a game a couple minutes, sometimes only 30 seconds or a minute you'll play. And if you're not immediately engaged, immediately amused, you drop it. And to be amused and engaged by a game, by definition, you have to understand it. You can't get into a game and be confused by it and also be amused by it. It's not... People don't like being confused. They don't like not understanding what's happening. And so we've had to entirely change the way that we make games to make sure that in the first 30 seconds of the game or first minute of the game, you are engaged, you're interested, and you're having fun. And that's easy to do if you're making hyper-casual games on mobile. If you're thinking about a blockbusting game or something like that, or a match 3 game, yeah, you figure that out in a couple seconds. And this is one reason why those games do so well. This is one of the reasons why the gaming world has moved more and more and more towards, it went from casual games to mobile casual games to now these hyper casual one button only games, because those are very easy to explain to you in the 10 seconds worth of attention that you've got, where our strategy games really aren't. And if you want to play a serious strategy game that involves, deep strategy and understanding a lot of mechanics and understanding sort of complex things, that's a commitment. And you're asking somebody to go make that commitment to your game, and that's a very hard sell. Now, on the other side of that, unlike hyper-casual games, if somebody does make that commitment, if somebody does get into your game, if somebody is interested in what you're doing, they are invested in it. And this is where you see games like Hearthstone, EVE Online, Crusader Kings, Civilization. I don't want to say Civilization. Civilization kind of lives on its it's, people played Civ for a really long time. People haven't played Eve Online since the beginning of time. Eve Online is I wouldn't say new, but it's newer than Civ. Or a game like Hearthstone, or a game like Slay the Spire, for instance, is a new game. It's a good game. It's a deep game. It's got nice mechanics, but it has to actually engage you right from the beginning. And so all of this brings me to what we've been doing lately, which is looking at our tutorials and looking at what is the opening experience for a player who's never played our game. He buys it off the Steam store and he wants to get started. What's that experience for him going to be like? Well, first of all, we're going to have to teach you the basics of how to play the game. We're going to have to get you involved in the lore and the story of the game and understanding why the characters are what they are, why the cards are what they are, why are there musketeers, why are these things that look like robots, what's going on. There's a lot to unpack in this game. From the story, there's a lot to unpack from the gameplay. There's a lot to unpack with the idea of being a simultaneous turn-based game, which a lot of people haven't played before. There's just a lot to get into before you can actually enjoy a game of Last Regiment. And so one of our biggest, most challenging tasks is creating that opening experience for players. Now, one of the things that's interesting, and it's funny that Alan, who is Boomzap TD over there in chat, just joined like right now. Alan is my business partner. He's the other half of Boomzap. He's the technical director of the studio. He has actually not been incredibly involved in this game. He's actually been much more involved in other things that we're doing in the studio. And so I actually kind of put my foot down a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, dude, you need to play our game. You don't have to build our game, but dude, you got to play our game. And we've had him join us in some of the playtest sessions. And what's been very interesting is he is a strategy game player. He is somebody who enjoys these kind of games. And watching him go through the experience of playing our game, not for the first time, but playing it for the first time in a very long time, has been enlightening. At the same time, we've been running our beta, and we've had other people playing this game for the first time, and we've been watching and listening to their experiences. And this can be very humbling as a game developer to go through that experience, because you know what your game is supposed to be, and you know why things are the way they are. You know that this thing works this way because there's this other thing that makes this, you don't people think that games are designed sort of in total, like you make this great big grand game design document and the designer has thought of every single corner case and every single thing that's going to be fun or not fun and blah, blah, blah. I wish the world was like that. It's not like that at all. You come up with a sort of general structure of how you want the game to play and the general tools that you're going to use and the general gameplay, and you prototype it up, and then you work from there. That's how games actually get built. And during that process, you run into moments where you say, this is fun, or this is interesting, we should do something new with that, or hey, this is not fun and we shouldn't do something with that. At the same time you're going through that process, you're also running into, and this is something that doesn't get talked about a lot, you're running into real live, honest to God technical problems of our engine doesn't work that way. Oh, that thing that you want to do, the way that we program the AI doesn't really work that way. And we'd have to go back and redo huge sections of the game to make that thing happen. And there's a very interesting point on that I'll bring up in a minute, where sometimes the things that you think would be really easy to do, because of the way the game has been architected from the very beginning, are actually much more difficult to do than you would think they are. I've got a very good example of that I'm going to get to here later in the broadcast, because I think it's a fascinating example of this. But it's something that we run into quite a lot, and something that later on when somebody else plays your game and they say, I was playing your game and it did this thing and this thing wasn't fun. Why did you make that decision? That seems so stupid. They don't have the history that you have with your game. They don't know that you made that decision because there were these 5 other things that went wrong, or there was this thing that you tried to do and it didn't work. And I'm not saying that means that we're right. In many cases, it means that we've got our blinders on. We've got this blinder of, I've been working on this game the whole time and I don't see it like somebody like Alan or Helios, who's been one of our best testers. I don't see the game the way those guys see it, because I have this baggage that I bring with me, and so does Adrian, the lead programmer of the project, and other people. One of the fascinating things that's happened recently is we brought on a new designer. I think Javi's been with us. I don't know how long Javi's been with us, like a month, 6 weeks, 2 months, I forget. We brought him on relatively recently. He's a wonderful guy. He's a designer from the Philippines, and he happens to actually be an old school chum of um, one of our other designers, Patrick. So we have Patrick and Javi, who actually went to school together. They're friends from the Philippines. They go way back, and we brought on Javi. And I actually met Javi at the ESGS Game Festival in the Philippines, which is their big game festival. And I played some of his games, and I was just really, really impressed with him. A year or 2 years ago, I don't know. At some point, I met with Javi, and I was just really impressed with him as a guy. And I thought this is a designer that's going places. And a while back, I found out that Javi was looking for a new job, and we actually didn't have an opening, but because I wanted the guy, I picked him up and put him into the team. Uh, what's really been interesting is to watch somebody who I've learned to respect as a very good junior designer. He's still very fresh, he's very new, but he's a very smart guy, and he's come onto the team with fresh eyes. And he's not just a person who's playing the game with fresh eyes. He's a guy who's actually designing the game with fresh eyes. And he's coming in and he's asking questions about, I don't understand why you did things this way. This isn't fun. Why did you do this like this? And having that fresh opinion, not external, but actually internal in the team, a guy who's building levels and doing stuff, has been really, really interesting for me as a developer who's been working on this game for a really long time. So all of this has been very humbling. And to be honest, it's also been quite hard. And that's something that people don't talk about in game development is the, I guess, emotional weight of being a game designer. Because all of these things that you see in just a couple seconds, that you play in just a couple minutes, these aren't things that we developed in a couple minutes. These are things that we developed over days or weeks or months. And sometimes you spend a month building a feature and nobody likes it and you have to take it out. Sometimes you spend a month building a feature and everybody does like it, but it doesn't work with something else that you need to do in the game. You take it out anyway. There's a lot of things that you love that get pulled out of the game. There's a lot of things that you thought would be good that end up not being good. And even when people are trying to be polite, it is always sort of painful and ego destroying to have somebody come and look at this thing that you made and tell you, I don't like this. This isn't fun for me. I don't want this. That's I think I've used this example before. I had a really good friend was a guitar player, and he used to say that singing in a band was like standing up on stage in your underwear and asking everyone like, "Hey, do you like what you see?" And you have to listen to their real response, right? It can be very humiliating. You end up kind of getting a little bit defensive. You end up, oh, I did this because of this reason. There was a good reason to be like this. You feel like everything you did was done for a reason, but the people who you're dealing with don't know those reasons. So anyway, I've gotten on a tangent. I wanted to talk about that sort of as my little thing about game development and game design, in case some of you are interested in what the emotional experience of being a game developer can be like. That's a lot of it. It's kind of funny. I've got a couple game developers in the room with me, and I see every now and then they're kind of nodding like, yeah, it's like that. So I feel I'm not alone in this. I want to talk now. I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what we did this week. So we were playing the game, and one of the things about the game that is really difficult to get to is the balance of the game, and especially the balance of the opening few turns. One thing that you really don't want to have happen in a strategy game is you don't want people to get in the game, get a bad hand or get a bad position or start out with a couple bad moves, and then they're like, to hell with it. I can't win this game. I give up. That's never a fun feeling. People don't enjoy that. People aren't going to come back to your game if they feel that too often. And so what we need to make sure of is that regardless of which hero you're playing, if you're playing relatively intelligently, you can start the game well. And we looked at the different heroes and what the different heroes play like when they start. And a good example, for instance, is Silvio, is our econ hero. He's the one. He's a trader. He's a merchant, and his sort of strength as a hero is he doesn't run out of gold very much, and so he tends to have the money to do the things he wants to do. Now we can compare him against, say, Hollythorn, who is a very aggressive hero, but she doesn't have a lot of money. She tends to be gold bound a lot more than Silvio does. But she's got some stronger units. She's a much stronger hero in terms of her own personal stats. She has a great big attack on her. She's got pretty good hit points. So, you know, in a one-on-one match between Hollythorn and Silvio, Silvio's going to get his ass handed to him, right? But that's not the way you're supposed to play Silvio. So the idea behind Silvio is he's a rear echelon MF, right? He sits in the back. He, you know, hands out money. He builds better units, but you don't bring him out to the front. Hollythorn, on the other hand, you want to bring out to the front. So given these two heroes, what should the beginning experience of the game look like? How much gold should you get? How many control points should you start with? And so a while ago we were playing and we felt that the game was starting very slow and we wanted the game to pick up because we find that the game gets really interesting once you start fighting somebody. I'm building my first couple buildings. I'm doing it drags a little bit. And we, again, going back to what I talked about in the beginning of the stream, you don't get to do that anymore. You don't get to have the old civilization. I played the game for an hour before anything happened, but that's okay because that's how I like my games. We don't get to do that. So we need to get to the point where you're in combat, you're having fun, you're being challenged as quickly as we can. And so how do we do that? So we actually gave everybody a full city. We said, your city's fully upgraded. You're going to get a bunch of gold, a bunch of CP right from the beginning because we knew the first thing everybody did, well, before then we had a city that was at level 1, right? And the first thing you did was you upgrade the level 2 and level 3. And we said, well, you know, if everybody's going to start their game by upgrading the level 2 and level 3, we just skip past that and start them with a level 3 city and, you know, off you go. We did that. Problem was, it gave you a lot of control points. And because Silvio has a lot of money, Silvio became absurdly powerful because he had the control points to buy a bunch of units. He had the money to buy a bunch of units. And so it was very easy to zerg Silvio right from the beginning. Just buy a bunch of cheap units because he's got the CP. He can buy them. He's got the room for them, and he does his full attack right off the beginning. He could just basically all the cards in his hand. He could play them on turn 1. That was not cool. So we said, all right, let's limit the player down to when you start the game, you only have a level 2 city instead of a level 3 city. So we did that. The problem was because Silvio has an ability which increases his pool of gold, and because you started the game with your gold pool full, Silvio was starting with a lot more gold than everybody else, and everybody was starting with a lot of gold. And again, there was so much gold that you basically played every card on turn 1. And you don't want the players playing every card on turn 1 because then there's no strategy in determining I play this card instead of that card, which is kind of the point of the game. So we actually changed the default setting from fill up your gold pool to full at the beginning of the game to fill up your gold pool to half at the beginning of the game. And that actually plays well. We like that. It's actually fun. Because we wanted people in multiplayer to be able to change that and adjust that. If they wanted a slower or a faster earlier in the game, you can actually set that to full, half, or 1/4 in the, here I'll show you in the game settings. Game with Chris. Okay, if I were to start a skirmish match, you can see I've actually got, why can I not press, there we go. You can actually see if I start a map here in Bishopsford, you can see I've actually got settings. So I can actually set my starting gold to half, full, or 1/4. So that's an adjustment that we made that I'm actually pretty happy with. We put a bunch of new units in the game. And one of the reasons we put a bunch of these new units in the game, you know, we actually, as I've said before, we actually have quite a few units that are not in the game right now that we have art for, that we've built, that we played, and in earlier versions of the game we actually had all the units in. And the problem was, to be brutally honest, it was just a real bear to balance all of that at once. And so we pulled back and we said, let's get a much smaller subset of units, something that we can balance those, and then we add in the units a couple at a time and balance them as we go. That seemed a more reasonable path to us. The problem, of course, being we needed to have enough units that making a regiment was fun. And we felt that we actually, if I pressed on the all button up here, we felt that we just didn't have enough units and we didn't have enough powers for everything. We actually had enough powers. We didn't have enough units for everything to be fun. So we added some new units in. I'm trying to remember what all we added in. We added in some squatters, and I think this is a really kind of fun unit. This is something we're testing. I'm not sure if it's going to be fun or not, but the squatters actually are a zero cost unit. They are free. By the way, this zero cost unit, Javi, can you take a note that we still need to have a gold up there that says zero? Right now there's nothing, which looks like a bug. There needs to be a gold up there that says it costs zero. But as long as you got the card, you can play the unit. Bad news is, unit sucks. So you can play this crappy unit as long as you have control points. So this is kind of an interesting thing that you can put in your deck. And it actually has a fun ability as well, where it's a pilferer. So whenever you get involved in a melee attack, you actually gain some gold. So this is designed to be a really great card for a very poor player, somebody who's consistently running out of money. A, I can play it when I don't have any money, and B, I can actually gain money after I play it by having this card. So we're curious to see how that plays out. That's a new card. We also added in the Chain Gang, and this is just our sort of crappiest builder in the game, right? You want a builder in your deck, but you want him to be cheap. There you go. Chain Gang's your bud. He upgrades into the eponymous Angry Mob, which is where our trash civilian units become when they get pissed off. We added in Craftsmen. I like the Craftsman card a lot. They are sort of a level up unit for your econ. They have the efficient builder ability, which means they actually build all of your buildings cheaper, which is again something great for somebody who's going to be cash poor and needs some way to get more money. And he upgrades to a militia, which is actually a pretty good unit. The militia himself actually upgrades to a musketman, which is sort of your baseline good ranged weapon user. So this is a pretty strong card, but he's a little bit expensive, so it fits. We also added in Batwing builders. People were complaining there weren't enough builders to build their decks with, so you'll notice that there's a good number of builders that we added to the game. Batwing builders, these are our goblin builders that fly, so this is a builder that you can move around the map quite quickly with. We added in the trench orcs. The trench orcs are actually one of my favorite cards in the game. I've always loved the trench orcs, mostly just because I really love the art. I don't know why. We built the trench orc a long time ago, and I just wanted a big, bulky, tanky infantry unit, and that's exactly what he is. He's got engineering, which means he ignores all fortification bonuses, which is really powerful to fight people who've holed themselves up in a city. They're immune to spores because they're hardcore like that. He's got a little gas mask on, so he can get past the spores, and then he's armored, which actually gives him half damage from artillery and missile attacks. And this is great. You know, people are saying, hey, this game is artillery is really powerful in this game. What's the counter to artillery? Armored units and flying units are the counter to artillery, because these armored and these flying units can move up and go destroy those glass cannons. So he's I'm going to go take your town. I'm going to go kill your artillery. I'm going to take a lot of damage unit. He sews up really well in a lot of decks. I was playing on Bishopsford just I think this morning, and who was I playing? I was either playing Javi or MJ, but somebody schooled me pretty hard with a couple of these trench orcs. We added in the Huntmaster, and the Huntmaster is actually a unit from one of our what is he? He's a goblin. Where do you go? There's a Huntmaster. That is a serious bikini we put her in. I'm not sure what we were thinking there, but she's a pretty hot looking goblin there. So she is actually one of the mini heroes from the campaign, and she's designed to be a sort of support unit for helping out goblin missile throwers. So she's kind of a little mini hero. She's got musket fire, which is good. She's woodland native, so she's good in the woods. And she's got this really nice improved missiles, so she's going to help out all your other missile people. In the lore, she's supposed to be an interesting fact about the lore of this game. Both elves and goblins are matriarchal societies in our game. Their leaders are women, and they tend to give women higher positions in their society. And the Huntmaster is actually one of the leaders of the goblin clans who actually controls the groups of hunters that go out and hunt. So you'll notice that a lot of the units, like the War Master, who's another Goblin unit, or Hollythorn herself, who is another, who is obviously the Goblin hero, War Chief Hollythorn, they tend to be female. Where some of the sort of lower ranking units, like our peons and our spider ranchers, these are sort of like the men have to do the dirty work that the women don't want to do because the women are in charge. So that's the way goblins work in our world, by the way, in case you were curious. That all shows up in the lore, which is getting written and will be later. One of the things we're going to do later is when you open up one of these look at my unit things over here on the right, we're actually going to add a panel later where we're going to give you some lore about the unit. You're going to learn about the unit and its place in the world and all that other fun stuff. The lore is getting written now. When the lore is written, I'll put the panel in and you'll get to see all kinds of great stuff about these units. But in any case, that's why the Huntmaster and the War Master, who are both new Goblin units, are sort of mini heroes, and they're both female. That's a thing. We also added in the Swashbucklers, which are our new amphibious units. I believe they're humans. Let's see, where are my Swashbucklers? They don't seem to be in yet. Am I missing them? No, they're not there. So they're coming soon. And then also the Centaurs. And the Centaurs are kind of a fun unit. I like the Centaurs a lot because the Centaurs are both mounted and infantry because, you know, they're horsemen. And so there's a lot of buffs that go for mounted. There's a lot of buffs that go for infantry. So they're actually sort of they're an easily buffable unit. They've also got charge, which is pretty powerful. Means that they do more attack when they're moving. And they also are woodland natives. So they're basic, and they've got this javelin ability, which is like a short range missile. So they're basically like forest tanks. So they're pretty cool. They work really well in Feyborn. They actually work well in a lot of different. This is a very useful card. I've found this to be useful in every hero in the game's deck, actually. I've played her in Olivia's deck. I've played her in Zilvera's deck. I've played her in Silvio's deck. And in any one of those decks, the Centaurs are pretty useful. So that's a good card. Javi reminded me, by the way, that the Swashbucklers I was looking for are actually a Captain DeRosa exclusive card. So you only get these guys if you are playing Captain DeRosa. And these are our cool amphibious infantry units. And obviously they go with the DeRosa because she's a pirate. So those are the new units that we've added in. They're in the game now, so you can play that. We have also, we are in the process of adding, I'm not sure if they're in build yet, but we're in the process of adding in our new plant units. Yeah, we have some plants. There we go. Right now we have a Treant and a Tendril Thorn, which have always been in. They're plants, but we're adding in a new unit, which is only summonable with a particular card, which I don't know if the card is in the deck yet. Wait, I think that's a hero-specific card. I think you have to have Zilvera to get the Life Root card. And the Life Root card will get you a Tree of Life, which right now has placeholder art that says, I am a tree, which is kind of cute. Now, the Tree of Life is actually a really interesting unit. It's a new idea that we have, which is a couple special units that can draw cards. And so the Tree of Life is a special, basically plant buffing, card drawing, mana generating object, which when it gets pissed off can uproot itself, turn into a giant elder treant with a whole bunch of saplings around it, so it can lead a charge attack. So this is a relatively interesting thing that Zilvera and other, I guess only Zilvera, that Zilvera can do as part of her thing, so she gets the big tree attack and whatnot. So we thought that was something really fun that you could do with Zilvera and different. I also, just for the record, this is in the studio has become an in-studio meme. MJ did that because he doesn't have art yet. We have art for the Life Root tree, by the way, which is coming along. June, our artist in the Philippines, is doing it. It's very pretty. So what else have we done this week? Oh, I should mention one of the other things when I talked about units that get draw, we actually have adjusted the merchants. And the merchants before were they weren't really anybody special. The merchants now have a special draw card ability. So they can draw one card from Market Fair, Fine Weapons, Fine Tools, or Trade-In. So they actually have some very useful cards that you can draw at any time. So your merchants are kind of, they're a builder. They turn into a militia when you don't want to build anything anymore. Um, if you want, you can keep them around on your villages and draw these special cards. Or you can keep them around somewhere else. You can roam them around. That's why they've got their little wagon. A note, by the way, Javi, I think you're taking notes tonight because MJ is not here. When I look at the draw card ability here in this particular scene, I should probably right here see the cards that I can draw. So Patrick, if you could take that note, maybe take a screenshot, put it over in the slides. I should see that when I have the draw card ability. It should show me which cards I'm drawing the same way it shows me this militia right there. So I should see that there. A note, thank you. What else did we do this week? Oh, this is the thing I was telling you about. When I was saying sometimes you think something is going to be really easy, and it's not. Let me show you a thing. So we had over in Discord, we had some people say that they really wanted the ability to choose their own player color. They were upset because they wanted to choose where they were going to start, and they wanted to choose their player color. Well, rightio. You would think that would be easy. The problem is, all through the game, we knew that this was player 1, and we knew that this was player 2, and green was tied to player 1, and red was tied to player 2, and all through the game, the actual architecture of the game was architected like that. Now, what we wanted to do was have a little thing like this. You'll excuse the crappy placeholder art. We're going to have something better here later. What we wanted to do was to have the ability to say, I would like to be player 1 and I would also like to be red. We wanted the ability to do that. But internally in the code, 1 and red were the same thing. And because 1 and red were the same thing, there were 15 or 20 little things that we had to think about when we changed this, where we had to say, oh, we have to... This actually, we have a new coder on the project. He's a wonderful guy from Russia who is living in Japan. And he just joined our project a few weeks ago. And I thought, this sounds like an easy task. Let's have him do this. It'll be a great, my first task on the project. And Adrian, the programmer, was like, no, that is not my first task. That gets deep into the code. And I thought, really? This? And I'm a game developer. I've been making games a really long time. And I thought that this would be trivial. But once I walked through it with Adrian and heard all the stuff that had to be done to make this thing happen, I realized this was far from a trivial task. This was actually a lot of work. Now, we did it. It's there. It still needs some art to be finalized. But sometimes when you ask for a thing, you think it's going to be simple and easy, and it turns out to be real work. This was one of the times that it actually ended up being real work. Silly little note, by the way, Javi, since you're on note duty. This should not be an X. X means I don't want the thing that I just said. This X should be an OK. So when I've selected whatever I want it to be, I should press OK right here, not an X. Bad us. Bad UI design. Anyway, what else did we do this week? Oh, that's a big thing. We haven't finalized it yet, but one of the things that I am not happy with in the game is the way defend and fortify work. I'm just going to load up a game real quick. We'll keep this relatively fast. So let's say I have this craftsman here and I have this guy here. Let's say I want him to defend, right? Great. It says defend. I press end turn, and now he's defending. And I'm going to get the little thing that says, oh, you're defending. Oh, it's in. Cool. I didn't know we had it in. So now you can see once he's actually defending during the resolution event, his little icon changes and it turns to a little shield. Woohoo! And now I know, aha, that guy is defending. Now you don't see it very long right now because there's not really much going on in the game. But later on, when the resolution sort of takes a long time, all of the units that are defending will have that little defend shape on them. and it will be easier for you to understand. My problem was I was attacking people and I was only doing half damage, and I didn't know why I was only doing half damage. Now, the reason I was only doing half damage because they were defending, but I thought the game was broken. Well, I didn't. I knew it was, but other people who don't know what's going on would think the game is broken. But now that we have the actual unit changing and becoming that little defend icon, the player can be like, aha, he's defending. Now, this is a thing. Tower Rush. I think I'm the only one not on notes duty. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. You'll notice this craftsman here in the background. He's fortifying, and we've actually put a little thing around him that tells me you are fortified. And we did that because people didn't really know that things were fortified. And when they're fortified, you'll see there's this extra little plus or 0 right here, which means that's how much actual extra fortification bonus you're going to get. Now, right now, it's plus 0 because he hasn't fortified. So if I fortify, boom, you'll see that little plus 0 is going to get his full fortification points. And now he's got a little plus 4 there, which means when he gets attacked, it works kind of the same as armor does in Hearthstone. So you're going to go through those 4 points of fortification before he starts taking damage. So as long as he stays there. Now, if he moves and goes somewhere else, well, he loses his fortification bonus because, well, you're not there anymore. Note to the people taking notes, when I moved my fortified unit, he didn't unfortify immediately. He should unfortify the minute that he moves. And in fact, I would argue the fortification marker should not be on him unless I have already pressed the fortify button. Right now, I think it's playing wrong. Right now, the language is weird because I get the fortify the minute I'm on the town, which is not right. He's not actually fortified right now because he hasn't pressed the fortify button. So I should actually only get this fortify thing after I press the fortify button, right? And I should only see that next turn after I have some fortification points. So if this fortification right here is 0, I shouldn't see the fortification icon. I should only see that when that has a number on it. And then when I'm planning my turn, if I tell you to move that way, we know he's moving. And because he's moving, he's lost his fortification points. He doesn't get his fortification points anymore because he moved. So we should take the fortification off of him the minute resolution starts. It should stay on him right now because if he gets attacked, he still gets his fortification bonus. But if he moves, he doesn't get it. So the minute resolution begins, that should come off of him. So that's a little bit more work that needs to be done on that. Boomzap TD. I'm not taking notes. I have minions for that. Yeah, cool. Yeah, get your notepads out, guys. You can all take notes. You can all feel like designers in this process. So that's what we did this week. The other big thing that we did this week, and this leads us to the second half of the show, is like I said before, we spent some serious quality time on the tutorials. And we're going to do something a little bit different and a little bit special tonight. I actually have Javi and Patrick over in a Slack call. They're muted, but they've been here the whole time. And they are going to join me. And we are actually going to play through the very first tutorials all together here. And they're going to take notes, and we're going to walk through what makes sense or what doesn't make sense in the tutorial. So we're going to go through the user experience of a brand new user for Last Regiment. What is it like if you start Last Regiment for the first time, you play the first tutorial? What is that experience like? So we're going to go through and do that now. I'm not used to talking this much. I used to be better at talking this much, but I'm not that good at talking this much anymore, and now my throat hurts. But that's all right, because this is going to be a quieter part of the show. I like how I still call it the show. I'm like an old man that doesn't know to call it a stream. It's like when your grandma's like, "Get out of my room! I gotta watch my stories." Yeah, I don't call them stories. I call them TV shows. But grandma calls them her stories, and so like I'm like grandma because I call my live stream the show. That's how I feel about myself. I feel very old. Very, very old. Anyway, where was I? I was before the ennui of feeling old. I was going back to the main menu. Yes, I do want to exit to the main menu. Thank you. I would like to go to the campaign. Woohoo! I would like to play the campaign. Woo! All right. Um. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Oh, look at my map. So here's a thing, by the way. Um, Somebody went in and labeled all the shit on my map. A lot of this was not labeled before, and a lot of it suddenly magically got labeled. I don't know when all this stuff got labeled, but it's cool. Who did this? Seriously, who went in and labeled my map? This used to not be labeled. I don't know who went in and labeled my map. I was literally about to say, hey, someone needs to go in and label the map, and somebody has already gone in and labeled the map. It's really weird when that shit happens because I literally didn't tell anyone to do it. And I was literally today I was going through and I was like, "Oh, I should get somebody to do that." But look at all the little labels. I came up with all these bullshit names myself. Thank you very much. I'm rather proud of them. I don't really know what happens on most of this map. So this is a fun thing I did actually. When I put this map together, I actually spent a lot of time on this. One of the questions I asked was like, how big is our game world? Like how many miles is that? And I could put a number on it, but that didn't really have much meaning to me. And I thought about our story and where we came from and what we were trying to do with this game. And what we've been trying to do with this game from the beginning is to talk about the colonial experience, to create a colonial fantasy. And I thought, what is a colony that I'm aware of? Well, a colony that I spent a lot of time studying as a kid, of course, was the 13 American colonies. And so I actually kind of created this area, this Forest of Mir area, is about the size of North Carolina and Virginia. That was the design. And so when we start talking about like how far does it talk, I can actually go back and look at old colonial histories and say, what, how far did people march? How big was this war? How long did it take somebody to explore from here to there? And I actually overlaid this onto a map of America and said, okay, if this is the size of North Carolina and Virginia, how big is all of this? And this gets us, kind of to Massachusetts, Maine, and this gets us kind of down to like the tip of Florida. So this area right here is the map actually goes further down. I don't know why we can't go further down. There's a great big jungle and stuff down here that we don't actually see. If you were to go all the way down, it goes down to about where the tip, where the top of South America is. Now there is a map. I will let you know. It doesn't exist in the game, but it does exist in the literature that I have on my computer. There is actually a map of this world that goes all the way to the right. Like there's a whole continent in there, and I have some ideas about what happens in that continent and who's there. But a couple 100,000 people need to buy this game before I'm gonna have the money to build all that. So call your friends. All right, so I've gotten sidetracked on my map. I don't know who and when did this. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. Anyway, let's play Uncharted Isle. Doo-doo-doo. I'm not going to spend too much time on text today. I'm just going to kind of get in and see how the gameplay is. So I'm not going to worry too much with this. I'll deal with that later. What I want to worry about is the gameplay, because we adjusted the gameplay. Now, one of the things that we did, and this is kind of interesting, we had Javi come in and play the game quite early on in his time here. And if you remember the original tutorial, the story was that a bunch of intelligent apes had taken over these islands. And there was a story behind that and why they did it and whatnot. But we realized that the opening of this game, this game that is about colonialism, the opening of this game, we were forcing you to be a colonist killing a bunch of locals. We were uncomfortable with that. We were uncomfortable with, hey, come play our colonial game, and in turn one, you're going to go enslave the locals. Like, that seemed weird to us, and I didn't really get it. I didn't notice it until Javi came and pointed it out. And it was funny because he had one scene. He took a screenshot of it. And there was like one monkey, and there were like 3 hills around the monkey, and every hill had a musket man on it, which is a very colonial-looking figure, and they all were shooting this one monkey, and he sent me a screenshot, and he was like, "Chris, I'm not comfortable with this," and I was like, "You know what? I see what you mean." So we have rewritten the beginning of the game to be different, where you are actually dealing with pirates, and Captain DeRosa, who has a piratey history herself, is going to deal with some pirates that have taken over the local islands. I'm happier about that. We'll see how that plays out. Alan has a point that this text looks bad. Can we take a screenshot of that and make a slide, please, in the notes? Two things. Here, take a screenshot of that. So there's a couple things. There's a few things going wrong here, right? Thing one: if Captain DeRosa on the left is speaking, that text should be justified left. If somebody on the right is speaking, that should be justified right. That's how people make this kind of text look good. That's thing one. Thing two, it's not kerning. I forget what the word is, but there's a word that tells you the space between the top line and the bottom line. It's not kerning. Kerning is between the letters. There's a line spacing. All right, so yeah, the line spacing here is too tight, which is what Alan's talking about, and I agree. There's a third thing. Why is there a fucking comma here? Like this thing, Alan, oh my God, if I had a nickel for every time I was like, why is it word wrapping a comma in one of our projects? I swear I would have so many nickels. I don't know why. I must have given this note 100 times. And here's the most annoying thing about this note, Alan, is before I'm allowed to bitch about it, someone's got to go look in the localization file and make sure that some stupid designer didn't put a space before that comma. And I know, I can tell you right now, there is no space in front of that comma. Oh, you're going to trigger me, Javi. If there's 3 of those in Mission 2, I'm going to be so upset. Now, if the designer put a space in front of the comma, bad designer. But I know it's not that. That's the most frustrating thing because it's a note, and every time I give that note, the programmer always has the same thing. Well, is there a space there? No, there's not a space there. Have you checked? Yes, I've checked. Okay, well, let me go look. And then it gets fixed. And I get triggered every single time. Yeah, so Alan, fudge you. That thing bothers, but triggered. I'm truly triggered. So that's a thing. So that's a note. Another note. Why is the Rumen Islands font different than the rest of the font? It should be a different color. It should be bold, but the kerning is different here. Why is that kerning different? That looks ugly as hell. Another note. Oh my gosh, why is this text so small and hard to read? Why do I have to squint at my game? I have a huge monitor. I'm still squinting at this. Another note. When I highlight this text, that thing, we need to figure out how we display that particular piece of text better than we're displaying it right now. So there's a lot of notes. And then a last note, take a screenshot of this, please. Someone's got to go design our lore. Our lore screens look pretty ugly right now, and we need to go make them look prettier. Assign that to me. I need to go do that, actually. All right. So there's all that. So much stuff. All right, moving around. You'll be able to move Olivia around by clicking and dragging through the passable hexes around her. Here, too, I think our line spacing is a bit claustrophobic and harsh. Let's move this fellow over here. Come on, Olivia, let's go. New objective. Move Captain DeRosa out of the shipwreck. All right, cool. Turn completed. Clicking the end turn button confirms the command ends the planning phase. This will then start the resolution phase, where your actions are executed simultaneously with the opponent's actions. Whoever the fuck wrote this, I don't know who wrote this. It might have been me, actually. Whoever the hell wrote this, oh my God. Use so many fewer words. Use much smaller words. I'm not here to study. I'm here to play a video game. Many fewer words? I don't know. Talk to me with little tiny one-syllable words and not very many of them. Honestly, all of these tutorial messages, go through them and ask yourself, could you do this in simpler English? Don't blame me, Alan. This wasn't me. Actually, it's probably me. I don't know. Oh my God, we need to use less words, and this is probably my fault. All right. End turn. All right. Woo. Oh, look what the tide brought in, mates. Need help getting home, lassie? Lassie? Really? Lassie? You're gonna call Olivia Lassie? Don't do that. Let's not drop the sexism right in the first 20 seconds of the game. Um, Also, for the record, why is the pirates who are led by a female pirate call me Lassie? Well, I guess they get new. Don't. Anyway, you get my point. Ugh, pirates. They must have been drawn to the wreck, hoping to loot our resources. Fair enough. What's with that nasty look? Miss? Again? Again with the sexism? What do you got against women, Javi? Why you gotta be so? Why, Patrick? Whoever, whichever one of you has some lady issues going on. We mean ye no harm. Ye really? We're going to talk about this. I'm not going to read this text anymore. I'm just not read it. It just hurts me. We'll come back to that. Um, Move Captain All right. So defeat the pirates by moving Olivia onto them. All right. Wait. Captain Rosa must be survive as a new thing now. All right. All right. End turn. Gendered language doesn't trigger me, Alan. Gendered language triggers the rest of the world, who then come and attack me. Ow. Missy? Really, Patrick? Missy? Really? Really? You're calling Olivia Missy? Really? You and I, we're going to have words, young man. Arg. All right. We're gonna have some work on this text. There will be work involved. This text needs. All right. So, end turn. Okay. Bum ba da doom. All right. Cool. Amateurs. A tower. I should check it out. I need to see if there's a way off this rock. Fair enough. All right. Tower is popular infrastructure. You use this tower as one such structure, move Lily onto it, and gain the benefits of its increased sight range. Okay, cool. Woohoo! Lady Luck smiles upon me. A port. I reckon I can find a boat there and sail forth. All right. But more pirates. I should capture this tower and take care of those guys. All right. Again, see, it's weird. I don't know why I've fortified already, especially because I don't have a fortify button yet. I should only get the fortification thing after I press the fortification button. That's a big note and needs to get done tomorrow. All right. End turn. All right, cool. Good, this tower's mine now. Now, about those pirates. Defeat the pirates to advance. I can do that. Why can't I drag my guy all the way over to the pirate? Why can't I drag my... Why does my thing not go there? I can drag my little thing anywhere else and get those. But the one place I want to go, it won't do it. What is special about that hex? No, it's not green on green. See, look, that's green on green, and I can hardly see it. No, there's something stopping me from moving my thing there. There's a thing. Anyway, let's find out. This terrain's dense. It's slowing me down. Fortunately, it's just one patch of jungle. I'll keep this in mind. Jungle, new terrain. Different terrain types require different movement points to traverse. Keep your unit's movement points in mind before crossing into them. Okay. See, now I can do it. Now I can get there. I don't know what was stopping it from doing that before. But I'm triggered. Triggered, I tell you. Boom. I'm gonna mess you pirates up. Oi, where's my mates? What'd you do to them? Empire scum? That would be Imperial scum, by the way. But that's only the beginning of the problems with this text, really. That's only the top of the heap, so to speak. All right, easy. Now to the port. Off we go, and turn. All right, that felt educational. I've just about had enough of this rock. Time to capture this port and get the hell out of here. All right, fair enough. Yar. Finally, the weather's fair and the seas are kind. Let's go find a better place to dock. Onwards. All right, cool. Captured the port. Things are good. All right, cool. We're going to talk about that text, but otherwise that played all right. Round 2. Why do I have a hunch this place used to be inhabited? I'll approach and check it out. All right, Captain DeRosa must survive. Proceed to the town. All right, I could do that. Actions. Okay, cool. Capture the town. I can do that. Okay. Alrighty then. So much text. Alright. Farm to structures increase your gold cap and can produce gold every turn. Gold allows you to build structures, summon units, and use abilities. Fair enough. That sounds like the sort of thing I might want to do. Oh gods, are the pirates back? We don't have enough food left for supper. Pirates? You're mistaken. Alright, that joke's kind of funny. I'm Westcothian Trading Company. You say there are pirates. Westcothia, eh? You folk may rather than pirates, but at least you ain't lawless. They've been bullying us to keep their bellies full, else they take what's left of the village and kill all of us. Alright, that's a mouthful, but fair enough. Then we take up arms. Provide me with a base. We'll take care of your oppressors and take back the land that's rightfully yours. That's real rich coming from a colonist. You make me laugh, little missy, but we'll entertain you. Now wait, why would the settlers be making fun of me for being a colonist? Because they're colonists. That joke doesn't work. Anyway, again, I don't want to be fortifying yet, but they're island colonists. Colonists is colonists. Colonists don't make jokes about other colonists. Not during the colonial period. All right, cool. Hang on a sec. Are you leaving? Okay. Sorry, I was talking to somebody else here in the studio. There's work going on around me, believe it or not. Real live work. All right, so I'm supposed to survive. So I am now at this exact moment not supposed to do anything. I don't actually have anything to do. I took over the farm that you told me to take over. I don't want at this point in my game to ever have a moment where I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Later on, I think we can have some quiet, like in later missions, maybe there's some time where the player's like, okay, build my economy or whatever, and he figures it out. This early in the game, I don't ever want to have a moment where I don't have a quest. And right now, all I got's survive. Well, all right, now what? So yeah, I'm not okay with that. Maybe take over the tower, figure something out for me to do, but I don't like not having something to do this early in the game. Weirds me out. Just say the word, we'll come running. I'll be able to fight like you can, but we can build bricks pretty well. All right. Summon the farmer. You have a unit card in your hand. Drag the farmer card from your hand onto or adjacent to either a town that you own or your hero in order to summon them. Okay. Howdy, farmer. We're here. What do you need us to do?
Hello.
Oh, hey, Patrick.
Oh, hey, hi.
So we're
Did you?
supposed to talk now? Hello.
I don't know. You could talk if you have something to say. You're welcome to. By the way, everyone, that's Javi and Patrick. Say hi, Javi and Patrick.
Hi.
Hello, Happy and Patrick.
All right, so they're the guys who made these levels, who I'm giving shit to. So they're joining us. All right, that's real poetic, Miss Captain. There's a plot of land on the other side of the aisle. Miss again with a miss. Must we? They can set up a barracks and arm those ready to fight. All right, completed. Summon the farmer. Yay. All right. Find the settlement on the other side of the island. Well, that's easy enough to do. It's right the fuck there. All right, let's go. Doo doo doo. I'm gonna make me another farmer because I can. So I can actually make an elite farmer already, but the player doesn't know
Oh
that.
no, no, don't do that. That's a bug. No.
Don't do that. All right, well, you're gonna have to control. Why can't I summon these here? Why? What's?
Uh, with regards to that one dead turn that you had a while ago, I think I know what's causing it, but it's not gonna be an easy fix either.
Yeah, actually, I was specifically told that we can't do that right now
Now wait.
because of how things are scripted.
What did you want to do that you can't do?
I just wanted to give the farmer card right away, but apparently that can't happen on the same turn
No, but I
as
mean,
when you
you could
capture.
give me that optional capture the tower quest the minute I take the farm.
Okay, that works.
Yeah. So why can't I summon? Do you see this little red thing? Why can't I summon this farmer in front of Olivia here?
I think it's the pop cap, but also I think that
No,
could
it's
be
not the pop cap because I got blue back here. Oh wait, now I don't have blue back there.
yeah.
Oh,
I
this is
think
weird. Look, I can color in the blues red. Yeah, that's a bug. Did you see what I did there? Look, I pick up the card. All right, look, it's all blue, and then it's like no, 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 no. Yeah, that's weird. That's a bug. We need to file that as a bug because I'm pop capped. They should all be red from the time I try. All right, what's this farmer supposed to do? I guess he can go over there and do farming stuff.
That farmer is actually not even supposed to appear. Like you're only supposed to draw one, but then for some reason the game keeps giving you more cards, even though I told it not to.
Well, sort that
Yeah,
out.
that's the Adrian said earlier this week that it was an effect of our new deck scheme
Uh,
because we have a graveyard. So because we have a graveyard, anything that even if we draw it once, it already goes to the graveyard, and whatever's in the graveyard has to get reshuffled.
we
So
need
basically,
we need to have a tag that we can put on stuff and say this thing doesn't go to the graveyard.
yeah, there is a tag for that. It's just not a tag that's available on summon cards right now.
Okay. So
Well, we'll get to that.
that's a thing you know how to fix.
Yep,
I'll believe in you and move along.
in
All right.
theory.
So I got this farmer. I'm not real sure what I'm supposed like. I feel very enemyless right now. I feel like there should be something to talk to or fight or something. I'm very bored and lonely at this point in my game. I'm like, okay, I'm wandering around on this island. What do I do? I mean, I guess I could take over the tower, but that's optional. Oh, I'm supposed to build a barracks. Okay, I guess I can get my farmer around and do that. All right, I took the tower. All right. Artillery towers are a type of basic buildable structure. These structures extend range and improve range abilities. All right, cool. Um, hmm. I feel like I got a lot of unit. I hate that I've got a unit that I don't really have anything I can do with right now. Like Olivia's kind of sitting around with her thumb up her butt, and she's gonna continue having her thumb up her butt for a little bit. Um, so Alan asks, should we allow the player to discard? We can't discard until you have more than 6 cards. So no, because there's no like discard right now. That shouldn't be here. That drag card here to discard, that ought to go away because we don't use that function anymore. That should not be here. Because we now discard at the beginning of the turn, not now. So that's a note. You want a screenshot? Here, look, screenshot that. Wait, you gotta wait for the lag, right? Okay. Anyway, I've waited long enough. You found it, so you can screenshot that. Yeah, I feel like Olivia's got nothing to do. I hate that this early in the game I'm telling Olivia to sit there with her thumb up her butt. That's a problem. I feel like maybe I should have some low-key attack happening while I'm doing this. Like Olivia could go beat up on some shitty pirates or something while this is happening. Alright, the number of cards units you have limited by your current unit cost limit. All units have a unit cost of 1 and cannot be summoned if they exceed your current limit. Structures such as barracks or towns can increase your cost limits. Wow, that's a lot of text. Okay. And again, now I don't really have anything to do. I have nothing attacking me. I got no objectives other than don't die. And I got 2 units that are just like, okay, I guess we wait here. That's not fun. And now I'm going to summon a mercenary, and I'm like, why? What would I use him for? There's nothing attacking me. Also, why can I summon a mercenary here? I can't. Oh, is that my, yeah, that's my selected hex. We need to do something about that problem. Our selected, if you look, when I select a hex, it uses that same blue hex that everything else uses. So now I drag my mercenaries out, and it looks for all the world like I should be able to summon a mercenary there, but I can't. That's not actually the spot that he goes in. That's just telling me that that's a selected. What we need to do to solve that is I'm currently selecting this hex needs to be a different color than blue. It needs to be green or something like that. Does that make sense, Javi? Patrick, either one of you? That makes sense to you guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Sounds good.
Yep.
cool. All right, so I'm supposed to summon a mercenary. I can do that, but I don't know why because I already have more units than I know what to do with. So I guess everyone's going to sit here and wait for the game to get interesting. All right. What coming fight? I didn't know there was a fight. What be the ruckus? Where be those lazy landlubbers? I'm being attacked by a chain gang? Why are slaves attacking me?
There aren't any pirate units yet.
Okay. All right.
I
So
used the pirate unit like in the previous mission, man.
Patrick's got a point there, dude.
Okay, fine.
All right. I'm not gonna elite my unit yet because I'm not supposed to be able to do that yet. I don't know that yet, so I'm not gonna do it. Hey, how come my farmers can't become angry mobs anymore? The settlers not become angry mobs anymore? Yeah, they do.
You
So why
don't
can't?
teach transforming it until the next mission.
Hmm. I would say we do transforming in this mission because I'm about to go into combat and I have a bunch of farmers. And the first thing I want to learn is my farmers suck in combat. They would be way better as angry mobs. This would be a nice time to teach me that. I would say teach that in this mission. So many birds. I really got to go in and fix that thing with the 500 birds. It's on my list of shit to do. All right.
But yeah, those enemies don't move yet. I'm not sure what's going on with the AI, but just sort of sit there.
Yeah, they're not. These are pretty unattractive enemies. All right, you. Well, let's kill the trash units, and Olivia can stay here and defend. Off you go. All right, learn all about dense terrain. This is a good thing to know. Alright, we killed those pirates. That's worth something. We did it. We're free. Yar! You haven't heard the last of... Alright, that's kind of funny. They'll be bringing power reinforcements, or prepare for worse. Bring your best shoulders. Reinforce the base. Alright. Defend the island from the pirate invaders. Alright. Hey, I can upgrade units. Good time to do that is now, I guess. Let's do it. And then let's see. I don't know why I'm moving you anywhere. You're as good. You're there as good as anywhere. Woo! I have elite units. That's worth something, I guess. Alright, let's see. So I can't build any more stuff. Set the assign order, settle, upgraded. Okay, that sounds cool. Alright, and you, I guess you're gonna do nothing. See, I feel like I should be getting some stress while I do some of this stuff. Because you're just like, build, upgrade, do all this stuff while nothing else happens. I have to tell you, I'm so bored right now. I want to chew my leg off. I'm so bored.
But we literally just taught the player how to move in the last mission.
Yeah, but he's not that dumb. I'm
Uh,
seriously about to chew my leg off with boredom right now. Um, there's got to be more going on than this. I mean, finally, here's some more guys to attack, so that's kind of cool. I still can't upgrade him to something more nasty, which is kind of weird. All right. Go get him. Go get him. All right. You go there. You are going to get yourself killed, but I'm okay with that because I am pop capped to hell. Hey, you know what? Don't do that. Why don't you go upgrade your building? And then I won't be all pop capped to hell. What, I can't upgrade anymore? Is it already all the way upgraded? Why can't I upgrade it more? Oh, it's already all the way upgraded, isn't it? No, wait, is 2 as upgraded as it gets, or is 3 as upgraded as it gets?
It's supposed to be 3.
So why can't I upgrade it anymore?
Probably something with a mechanic lock. I'll check it.
Yeah, I wanna. Don't tell me I can upgrade shit and then not let me upgrade shit. That's not cool. That makes me sad. All right. You know what? Why don't you just get in there and kill them all, will you? You're big and strong like that. All right. I can't play that yet. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to really judge this because your enemy's not doing shit, right? They feel like they should, move and stuff. So it's kind of hard for me to be like, this is fun or not fun because your dudes aren't moving. And you're about to tell me I don't know why the AI is busted, which I get, but it's very difficult for me to tell you whether or not this is fun based off of that. So that's a thing that needs to happen. Um, you need to go talk to Adrian about that tomorrow and see why we don't have moving units, which is highly problematic for a strategy game to have your enemy not move. But beyond that problem, I think there's another bigger problem of there's a whole lot of dead space in this level, and I just feel like this needs to go so much faster. There needs to be pressure on the, not a lot of pressure. I mean, give him some little shitty units that he can kill, but give me some pressure that gives me something to do in that, because I felt very, very, very bored. Um, how did I get to where I am right now? I feel very weird that I'm at a peninsula on the end of whatever, and this doesn't look anything like where I was in the last mission. And there really wasn't anything that told me how I got here. Let me go back to... If I go back to campaign, and I play Sharktooth Shoal, yes, yes, yes. When I played this, there wasn't anything that looked like where I just started the next mission. Whoa! You didn't just do that to me, did you? Bad designer. Did you really make it so I can't walk past that town? Did you really put an invisible wall right there? Did you really do that? Because I hate
Yeah.
you right now. Fucking never do that in my fucking game. Never, ever, ever, ever put a fucking invisible wall. Right now, I hate you. I quit your game. I stopped playing. I'm going to go play another game on Steam. I fucking hate you right now. Whoever did that, don't do that. Right? I know that you're like, but I want him to do this thing. No, no, you don't. You want your player to be able to play your game. Right? Now, you can put in something that, like, if it's 2 turns later and you still haven't taken the town yet, you can pop up a message that says we should go back to the town and take the town. You can remind him, you can do that shit, but never ever 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 put an invisible wall in my game. Holy shit, I hate you right now. Don't do that. This is how you poke Chris in the eye with a very sharp stick. Um no, no, bad designer, no cookie. I'm very upset with you right now. Don't do that. All right, so my point though, the thing I'm trying to get to is I can see what this level looks like, right? And I know at the end of this level, when I beat this level, I could see all the way around me, I'm on this island. And then I started out the next level, and I'm on the end of this peninsula. And the player is like, what? Where did I go? What did I do? I don't understand. Um, I need to know, like, if I'm on this island, my next level should be I got there from the ocean. Because there's nowhere for me to go here that's not the ocean, right? In later levels, if like the level has a road and I finish the game as I'm going along the road and I can see the road leads off the map to the right, then great. You can have the next map start off the road to the right, but don't have a map that has an island on it and then I go to the next map and I start out.
Yeah, okay.
There, this is because that tells me I just drove up that road, but there was no road, right? And so now I'm very upset with you. Also, why don't our waterfalls fall? That should be animated. Why is that not animated? We used to have that animated.
Yeah, it used to be animated. I'm not sure what's happening.
Can you put that in the slides as a bug, please?
Okay.
All right, it is now 10:28. I have been streaming for an hour and a half, which is as long as I ever intend to stream. I think I've given lots of notes that I'm guessing I would give again if I played through this level. So, Patrick, Javi, this is what you're doing tomorrow. You're going through, you're fixing all that stuff. You're going through this mission and you're fixing all the stuff that you know I'm going to bitch about when I play it. And tomorrow at the end of the day, I'm going to play this again and we're going to see how I feel about it all. Cool?
Okay.
All right. So that's the show for today. See, I called it a show again. That's the stream for today. It is 10:30. I am going to go to my hotel and go to bed. That's my plan. And it's my story and I'm sticking to it. It was great for everyone to come join. Thank you for watching the stream. It's always great to have you. We'll be back. I will be in Hong Kong next week. And I am not sure how I stream from Hong Kong. Hopefully the hotel there has good enough internet that I can stream from the hotel there. Hong Kong has pretty good internet, so I feel optimistic. Hopefully the revolution doesn't begin in Hong Kong while I'm there and the streets are safe and whatnot. I will be going to Pocket Gamer Connects, which is a big convention in Hong Kong, and I'm very excited about that, so I'll tell you all about Pocket Gamer Connects. I'm not sure what my streaming schedule will be like. My guess is it'll be very late on Thursday night, but I'm not sure yet. I'll let you know. That's what I got. Thanks everyone for coming. I'm going to turn on the little screen here, which tells you everything you need to know. Then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to turn on this music, which, by the way, if you're wondering what this beautiful music is, this is the music from Legends of Kalasia, our other game, which you should probably go play. So thank you very much. We'll be back next week. Yeah, I don't know how to end this other than thank you, and I guess that's the end. Thank you, and we'll be back next week. That's the last thing I say. I'm supposed to push the button for the music. There's the music now. You can listen to that.